Kurt, Gert, Jazmine, and Bagel and Their Train Station Adventure by Irene Dolnick. In the busy train station, the train's whistles were yelling their arrivals and departures. Clusters of passengers were scurrying to enter and exit the overcrowded platforms. Among the crowd, 4 friends made their way to the loading deck. Kurt, Gert, Jazmine, and Bagel were loaded down with luggage and items they could not live without during their last-minute hatched trip to Phoenix. All of a sudden, Jazmine tripped, and her luggage fell open. "Oh no!" Jazmine cried as she rushed to pick up her things. Kurt, Gert, and Bagel rushed to help her. Their train whistled again, and their hearts began to beat faster. "Kurt, go save our seats on the train! Bagel and I will catch up," Jazmine shouted. "Hurry! You don't want to miss the train, Jazmine," Kurt repeated, grabbing his luggage. Kurt and Gert ran off simultaneously as the conductor yelled, "All aboard!" leaving Jazmine and Bagel scurrying to pick up the rest of her luggage. The whining bells and screams of all aboard, made them begin this last-minute hatched plan to Phoenix. Jazmine latched all her worries into the satchel, along with the clothes she was able to match. She did promise Kurt she would laugh at all of her problems that made her worry, including the thought of losing Bagel to other friends. Their train whistle rang and sang the story about that wretcher, Mr. Natcher, who was the mean fetcher for the city dispatcher. Jazmine thought she heard their warnings. As they neared their train, Jazmine saw the dog catcher. The words dog catcher produced a strong fear that Jazmine could not overcome, but she knew the sweet Mr. Natcher, and he could not be a snatcher or a nasty dog fetcher. It was at that moment that Jazmine realized their train was warning her. Mr. Natcher, the catcher, clutched dogs without homes. If Kurt, Gert, Jazmine, and Bagel got caught, it would botch their plans to Phoenix. All of a sudden, there was a screech. Jazmine and Bagel knew the sound of Mr. Natcher's squeaky wheels. Their catcher was driving closer to be their fetcher. "Since we don't have dog tags and are not microchipped, that fetcher of a catcher can bag us. He sees us as pieces of dirty rags without tags," Jazmine screamed. "You're right, Jazmine," Bagel said slowly. "Mean Natcher could snag us for not having tags. We would be the snags without tags that he would bag," Bagel said as he laughed. Just then, Jazmine and Bagel could hear the crunch, crunch of familiar footsteps. They tensed and searched for something they could crouch behind. Jazmine and Bagel ran quickly down a side patch of street. From afar, they saw a wagon filled with hay pulled by a splotchy black and brown horse. "Ha! I'm catching you two! Stop!" shouted Mr. Natcher with a smile. Jazmine and Bagel jumped on top of the hay and sank to the bottom of the wagon. Could they escape that fetcher, Mr. Natcher? Did he see them jump into the wagon? Both heads poked out from underneath the hay and cranked together toward a closer sound. "Is he still trying to catch us?" Jazmine asked Bagel. "I have hay in my eyes and can only see sketches of what's going on," Bagel stated. "What are our best options?" questioned Jazmine. "Let me see how close that snatcher is," replied Bagel. Bagel jumped from underneath the hay. Jazmine watched closely and jumped down right after him. They heard the sound of a train bell that rang loudly as the train banged out of the train station slowly. Jazmine and Bagel realized they were close to the station, but they still couldn't spot Kurt or Gert. Bagel and Jazmine saw a gang of silvery trains and an old red one with an open shed door. Jazmine and Bagel no longer heard the crunch of familiar footsteps. They had escaped Mr. Natcher. They sang songs of joy as they cranked their legs toward the train station for their new adventure to Phoenix. "Bang, bang, clang," reported the silver and red chains to Jazmine and Bagel. Bagel led Jazmine onto the bed of the red cargo shed instead of the sleek, slender silver trains going to Phoenix, believing no one would look for them there. He watched out the open door so that he would not have a rematch with that snatcher, Mr. Natcher. Tired of running and hiding, Jazmine and Bagel fell asleep inside the red shed. They were worried about finding Kurt and Gert, but were too tired to search for them. Bagel woke up when he heard Kurt calling his name. Jazmine woke up to the same sound. She stuck her head out the train door as the sound of Kurt's voice became clearer. Over here, Jazmine called. Kurt and Gert followed the sound of her voice until they found the red train and their friend. "Do we have a story for you?" Jazmine shouted as Kurt and Gert poked their heads inside the red train. The laughter rattled the walls of the red train on its move to their final destination, Phoenix. The end.